Hello, I'm Sofia Crespo. I'm a generative artist and I work mainly with neural networks or AI to generate artificial life forms. There are so many different ways of understanding generative art, but today I would say what I understand as generative art is software art. And by that I mean like art that makes use of a software or a system to create it, to generate itself. But I also very much like the idea of non-software based generative art, where you rely on an organic process or system to create it. To me, NFTs are two things. One of them is a vehicle, a thing that allows me to get somewhere. And for example, that is like to verify the fact that I'm an authentic owner of a piece of work. So that's at least what NFTs are to me. In a way, they are what allows me to put my work out there, knowing that I'm the true creator of that work. But the second way of understanding them could be as an artistic medium. And that's something that I find fascinating, although I haven't personally made use of NFTs in that way. But I see a lot of potential for artists to express themselves with them. Before NFTs, I was working mainly doing exhibitions, teaching, and giving talks, and those were my primary sources of income as an artist. Sometimes I sold some prints, but I couldn't keep track of who collected them if I sold one and maybe that got resold to another friend of the collector. And when I started working with NFTs, that really changed the way that I relate to the people who collect my work, because suddenly I was able to see, at least in most of the cases, who collected it and to contact them and have a conversation about it. Or I could also share my work in its original medium, which is digital. And before that, I always had to create an adaptation of my work, kind of as a print, for instance, to be able to turn it into an object that somebody can actually collect. So in a way, they legitimized what I do. I'm really fascinated by quantum computing, and I think that's gonna be like a completely new thing for artists to use. Technology-wise, I think it's really at the early stages. So a lot of the interfaces to make use of it are not very friendly to artists, but I think that's going to change. And I'm really looking forward to playing with these tools. I'm very inspired by artists who are already using quantum computing, like Libby Henny, David Young, and Pindar Van Arman. I love the ocean. Yeah, so my father is a sea captain, and a big part of my upbringing, he told me stories about the sea and the things that he encountered while sailing around the world. He really spent a lot of time sailing around different places in the world. And it was just fascinating to hear all these things. And that was a very, very huge influence to me, like to create kind of a connection with the ocean. And also through my mother, she's an environmental law researcher. So her work is spinning around like how to protect a piece of land, for instance, from human impact and the law behind that. So at home, we always had these kind of conversations and debates, and they would go from like environmentalism to ocean, and it was to me, that was very rich. So I see that it created a huge influence in my work today. If I couldn't be an artist for some reason, I would choose to be a marine biologist, because I think there's so much life in the oceans. There's so much yet to discover at the bottom of the sea. We haven't really reached the full depth of the ocean. But we know that the further down we go, we keep discovering life. And that's just really fascinating to me, to think about all these like life forms, extremophiles that live in really extreme conditions that humans could never live in. So yeah, I think that would be my profession in a parallel universe. Yeah, I'm excited about the work we're doing with my studio Entangled Others. That is my collaboration with artist Pelican McCormick. We're working on a project where we are for the first time using the blockchain more as a medium than as a tool to or a vehicle to sell our work. So I'm very excited about where that's going to take us. It's still at the very early stages, so I cannot say what it's gonna be in the end. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to share my work in this way, and I hope that we find new ways of connecting with nature in the metaverse or in Web3, and creating a representation of nature in it. So, well, thank you. Thank you very much.